and welcome to another exciting episode of Wave the Brush with me, your host, Kris, aka the Name Butcher, aka Hey You Get Off My Lawn, aka Kris, you are being creepy again. Wave the Brush, the most informative 120 minutes onto the internet, on the wargaming lifestyle. We'll talk about painting, terrain conversions, and just about everything under the sun. If you're a first-time viewer, we do a lot of painting talk as well as a lot of what's under the sun, meaning no topics are barred. We'll talk about anything and everything, so be warned. Of course, if you're watching this live, you can ask your questions in the chat, whichever direction it might be in for you. I have no idea. And if you're watching this post-live, you can submit your questions to Kris@wayofthebrush.com. It's in the description below. As well, if you are sending pictures, send them as attachments in the email. Don't send it off as links to other sites, because I won't do it. It's just annoying, and just don't do it. Please. Please, for the love of God. Please. Of course, in the description below is a link to wayofthebrush.com. Central hub of all this silliness has the links to all the social medias as well as Discord. Join us on Discord. It's a lot of fun. We keep the conversation rolling there 24/7. And of course, if you really need answers to your questions, feel free to join us there and ask your questions. And if I don't answer your questions, one of the many, many monkeys knowledgeable will help you out. And of course, so many of them offer so much great advice. So feel free. It is basically a community of learned people. I almost said feeple, whatever feeples are, but learned, for God's sakes, it's learned. Also at wayofthebrush.com, you'll find the links for t-shirts. Also down below, and if you're watching this on YouTube, because I can post links to shit down there. So t-shirts, you want to get yourself a t-shirt, look like a connoisseur of all that is good and holy in this world, they're wearing a Wave the Brush t-shirt. And of course, if you've purchased yourself a shirt, send a picture of yourself in your shirt and I will add it to the monkey shrine, just because it's nice to put a name to the face and a face to the name. Also at wayofthebrush.com, you'll find a link for Patreon. Huge thank you to my patrons. Without your support, this channel would not be able to continue to do what it is that I do, which is educate, inform, and sometimes entertain. It's a lot of tutorials as well as a lot of this kind of silliness, and yeah. And of course, I've been trying to, do more for the patrons, more one-on-one times and, things of this nature. So, there are varying tiers to support, and a huge thank you to everybody who does. And of course, speaking of thank yous, big thank you to Carl, aka Guymere Allfair, aka Beer and Blood Bowl. That's his channel. Check him out if you love yourself some beer and you love yourself some Blood Bowl. Beer and Blood Bowl is where it's at. Always take the time to thank Carl, even though he is no longer with us, for taking the time out of his busy day to create the email jingles that play before the email segment of the show. And so always much love for Carl. Always. And of course, speaking of love, much love to my baby brother, Evan, for creating the intro, outro music that plays at the beginning and end of the show. So always much love to my baby bro, Evan. And if you're into rare comics, EB Comics, it's in the description below. He's got the hookup. He has the hookup. He's got those rarities. I don't know. Actually, it's been a while since I perused his site. I've seen he's got some really high-priced items, like some valuable stuff, and I don't know why I'm kind of busting into a walk-ins. But anyway. Who's joining us today? Oh, it's pretty quiet. Corvus Plays. Good day, Kris and chat. Good day. The Diggery Dude. Good day, Kris and Monkeys. Hope you're all doing well. I'm doing pretty well. Yeah, thank you. Aaron Seach. Greetings, Kris and Monkey Brethren. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday to you, Aaron. Hopefully, soon enough, we will be in each other's presence in the coming year. I mean, we got to wait a whole other year. Unless, of course, we all meet up at, say, something like, I don't know, is Nova back on? I don't even know. I don't think they are, but I think they're keeping it open that they could be, because I think they're like an end of summer type of event. Because I know, Gen Con is Gen Con even still happening? I have no idea. Is Gen Con happening? I don't know. But either way, LVO is near the end of the year, I think. It's like Christmas time or after Christmas, New Year, beginning of the New Year, January, I think. I don't remember. I've never been to any of those, Nova or LVO. I've always wanted to go, just haven't gone. Adepticon is probably my favorite. Sadly missed again, so it's 2 years without an Adepticon. You know, it's just, you know, it's sad. It brings a tear to my eye. Hold on. Let me see. It's an excuse to wipe my eye because I felt boogies in there, but let me see if there's a tear in there. Let me see. Hold on. No, there's not a tear. There should be a tear. If I had tear ducts, then I would probably have a tear, but I don't have tear ducts, so. Everybody's like, Kris, everybody's got tear ducts. What the hell are you talking about? Sean Price. Hi, y'all. I have a question, and I'm struggling with when I airbrush my paint, looks chalky. What am I doing wrong? The paint looks chalky when you're airbrushing. That is kind of a funny one. Now, when we say chalky, are we talking about like you're spraying it down and it's got a texture on it? So like it's, you know what I mean? Like it has that chalky appearance, like it was dry brushed heavily. Is that what we're talking about? Or is it you're spraying a layer down and then the paint is kind of like regathering up and it's forming like, you know, kind of like, you know how you get like water spots on a freshly washed car, you know? Is it doing that kind of thing? Like I'm not 100% sure, because chalky is not something that usually gets associated when we're talking about airbrushing. So yeah, it's now if you're getting a chalkiness from the airbrush and it's we're talking about like a kind of a texture on the surface, you may be lingering too long on a surface. You may be working with really overly thin paint and you're overworking it on a surface. The paint, the other one is that you could be too far away. You might be spraying at a high PSI, so you feel it, you need to come back from the project, and it's too far away, and so it's like dust, and it's because basically you're atomizing that paint, and by the time it reaches the model surface, it's already lingered through the air too long, and it lands on the model surface and it falls like dust. That could be it. What you may need to do to counteract that is to turn your PSI down a bit and work a little bit closer, and don't linger. Whenever you're airbrushing, you should always start your airflow away from your project. So if I was, if I'm holding an object, right, I'm holding my model and I got my airbrush and I start the spray, usually spray away from the project, not with the paint flowing, just the air, just to start the air, because sometimes paint gathers on the tip, and so if you start the air pointing at your project, you'll get a little splatter, and it'll splotch paint all over the place. So you start the air away from your project, and then work your way in, and then just go about working. It looks like powder. Okay, yeah. So that's what it sounds like to me, is that you are working with a really high PSI and you're working too far away from your project, and you're basically just throwing dust at your project. That's one way, without knowing all the variables that play here. But yeah, that's what it sounds like. At least in my experience, that's what it's always been. If you ever end up with a chalky surface, yeah, it's usually your PSI. You're having to work too far away, right? Because if you're working with a high PSI and you're working close, you end up getting lots of spider legs, right? That's another sign that your PSI is too high. A lot of the work has to do with how thin your paint is and what PSI you're working at, and of course distance, right, from the project. This is me illustrating distance, whatever this is. So yeah, but yeah, hopefully that kind of helps. You really shouldn't have to thin the paint more than necessary if it's already a paint that is airbrush ready. Oftentimes I don't even thin the paint. If I'm going to build up gradual layers, then I thin the paint. But otherwise, if it's a base coating or a prime, or where I just need to lay some paint down, yeah, if it's an airbrush ready paint, I often do not thin it. just goes right through the airbrush. Believe it or not, regular Citadel paint, right out of the paint, like regular Citadel paint in the paint pot, will move through an airbrush. So bear that in mind as well. I mean, and Citadel paint's pretty thick. It's a heavy body paint. What I consider to be a heavy body paint when we're comparing paint lines. No fucks given. Good morning, skeezes and scallywags. What's a skeeze? I'm not even sure what a scallywag is, but are we talking like pirates today? Is that what's going on here? No fucks? Yeah? We're talking like pirates today? Arr, me mateys, arr. David Vega, what's good, Kris and monkeys? A beer? A beer? You know, it's a little early in the day for beer for me. Sort of. in my youth, getting up, especially after a night of partying, getting up and cracking one, and yeah, did that plenty of times. Not that I'm proud to admit that, but anyway. Corvotics plays. What do you think about Sisters of Battle being granted access to the Predator tank? They kind of already had a Predator tank before. Same with like the Rhino, and you know, like they're all just kind of Rhino conversions. So, in fact, we'll jump over because I did not see the preview today. I only caught a couple glimpses on Instagram, Twitters, and you know what I mean, just kind of usual social media stuff floating all over the place. So, but I'm on the community site, and I have not even really properly looked at everything. So we'll do that in a minute here, just to give you guys some of my first impressions of stuff. Sean Price, yeah, oh, we already read that one. Looks like powder. Matthew Perez, good morning, Kris and fellow monkeys. Good to see everyone. Good to see you too as well. No fucks given. Flow improver and pressure adjustment. Yeah, like flow improver. Now, because oftentimes we use that term flow improver, it confuses some people because there's products called Flow Aid and flow improver. Flow improver just being a thinning agent, as opposed to Flow Aid, which is it's an additive for changing the viscosity of the paint, the surface tension of the paint, right? So I would just recommend just using regular airbrush thinner if necessary. Now, if you're building up fine gradients, yeah, use a thinner. If you're laying down base coat, priming, stuff like that, a couple drops of water just to thin the color out a little bit, sure. Lay it down, sure. But yeah, it has to do more with your PSI and the distance. If you're finding that chalky finish, yeah, turn your PSI down, work a little closer in. Sean Price, thank you so much. Yeah, no problem. Hopefully that helps, Sean. Hopefully that helps. And if it doesn't, it might be something else. I might be misinterpreting what is exactly happening. Yeah. Those are all possible scenarios. Sir Peanut Butter, morning. Kris and Peeps, morning. Aaron Seach, too far away, too high of pressure. Yeah. If you're working like say 30 psi, over 30 psi, and you're like back this far and you're spraying it at the model, yeah, because the paint, there's a certain distance. If you just spray into the air, you'll see like you have a cone, right, of the paint. But then further out from that cone, the paint starts to go and it just starts to free flow in the air. And that's the distance at which you might be airbrushing, is where that paint is just starting to free flow through the air and it's just going to fall onto the surface, right? And that would give you a chalky finish. And of course, lingering too long. And yeah, like I said, there's quite a few things that can result in what I would perceive as a chalky finish. I've not really experienced the chalky finish on a model other than when I was playing with some mediums that really weren't designed to go through an airbrush, like basically like iridescent medium. I've sprayed iridescent medium through the airbrush. The mica flakes were just they're just too big, really. I mean, they're the tiniest things ever, but in the airbrush, I found that I was working at my normal PSI, and I found that the flakes were becoming like a chalky flakiness on the surface. It had a very interesting look to it because it basically kind of looked like frost, but not at miniature scale. It was more like, you know, if I was doing like a prop, right? Like a 1-to-1 scale prop. and I wanted to represent like frost, like kind of like John Carpenter's A Thing. You know how everybody kind of has that frosty kind of look, and you know there's this frost over everything. Would be one way of achieving that kind of look, is an iridescent medium through an airbrush at too high a psi, and it just basically crystallizes on the surface. Yeah, it's interesting, but it's not what we want as miniature painters, no. So yeah. Anyway, Evan Belleau, what's up, everybody? Sup? No fucks. I mean, actual Vallejo flow improver for acrylic. Most of it evaporates by the time it hits the model and helps deliver it evenly. But yes, there is confusion oftentimes. Yeah, because I mean, like because oftentimes, you know, flow improver, and then there's other products that are flow aids, and there's a couple products that are flow aids that have the name flow improver, and they have the same property apparently. So I only ever use Liquitex Flow Aid, so that's the only ever product I recommend, and you know, it's where it goes, right? And versus, you know, a lot of other airbrush thinners. I mean, I've used a whole bunch of airbrush thinners. I use I use a lot of MIG ammos. I find this, I use this thinner. Yeah, it's an acrylic thinner. I don't even think it's for brush and airbrush, it says. I use this, and I find that this mixes very well with Citadel paints, regular Citadel colors. I'm talking about, because you may have seen in some videos that I've done where I'm taking, you know, like a regular Citadel color, but I'm moving it through the airbrush. That's usually the thinner I'm using. It has a slight chemically smell to it, almost like alcohol. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is alcohol in it. Now, I don't know if it has ingredients. Ingredients. Like we're going to eat this, right? Not for children under 10. But children over 10. Have at her. Yeah. No, it doesn't really tell me. Shake well before using. I never shake this. I'm just kidding. I shake everything. Everything. And because of my age and body index, everything on me jiggles as well. Anyway. Old Man Logan. Hey there, Kris. How are we doing today? We're not doing too bad. Not too bad at all. How about you? Sergeant Jack Rum. Is there a particular airbrush you recommend? Need to upgrade from my cheap starter one now. I know what I am doing. Not you know what you're doing. You're right. Okay. Well, keep that airbrush, because, you know, there's always a reason to keep those airbrushes around, because, you know, maybe there's, you know, you want to play with some more solvent-based paints. Maybe you've, like, I don't know, you know, how much airbrushing you've been doing. It sounds like you're relatively new to this whole ordeal. So I'm going to assume a bunch of things here, basically that you've only been working in water-based acrylics. Keep that older brush for when you venture into solvent-based paints and not water-based acrylic paints like Tamiya. But you get into solvent-based paints like enamels and things like that, like Humbrol and Testors, and, you know, Testors enamel. But you know what I mean? Like, get into more of these, you know, smellier paints, right? But anyway, yeah, acrylics so far. Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's fine. It's a good starting point, and it's relatively safe to work in, you know, water-based acrylics, because they you know, it says right on the bottom, non-toxic, right? Versus playing with, you know, more solvent-based paints, which you should have a respirator. I mean, you should be using a respirator most of the time anyway, but for the solvent-based paints, yeah, you should. Yeah, definitely. But anyway. As far as a recommendation for airbrush, well, I only ever use Badger airbrushes. It's what I got started on, and it's what I've got the most experience with. I have played with Wada like for a hot minute. I really didn't feel much difference between their I can't remember what a Wada was, but it was basically like their equivalent of like what a Patriot 105 is. And if you're going to go for a Badger product, I would recommend, especially if you are still considering yourself relatively new to all this, a Patriot 105. That's what I would recommend. It's a larger needle size, slightly. It's a 0.3, I believe, or is it 0.4, 0.5, 0.3? I can't remember. For me, it really doesn't matter. I mean, for the Patriot 105, I use it just for priming and for base coating. You know, bigger area stuff. I use it for some effects as well, but it is versatile. The Patriot 105, it can do some close-in work as well as, you know, heavy lifting like, you know, priming and base coating. It can do all those things very well because of the larger needle size, the larger cup on it. Again, it kind of, you know, depends upon your compressor as well. I often recommend a compressor that has the additional storage tank on it, so that, you know, at least it has a gallon, 2 gallon of compressed air. I just find that it's just, you know, just better. I don't think you really need to go run out to the hardware store to pick up, you know, the big air compressors, just because those ones tend to be very, very loud. So, but yeah, but it's for me, it's Badger, just because it's what I started on. It's what I still currently use, and they last a long time. I mean, like, I have my 105 here, and I bust this out every time people ask. But this is pretty much it. I mean, for me personally, putting the high roller trigger on it really was for comfort, you know. But the longer stem gives you a greater fulcrum of control, as long as your spring is nice and strong, and also a quick connect adapter as well, just so that if you have multiple brushes, you can just swap them out on your hose and stuff like that. And yeah, but yeah, I mean, like, if you take care, I can't see if I'm actually showing the inside here. Yeah, if you take care of your brush and keep it clean, I mean, like, this gets use all the time. I mean, the cup is not perfectly clean. I mean, you can still see there's a smidge of paint and stuff in there, but, you know, the tip is, you know, sort of clean. It's not immaculate. It's not like we're going to eat soup off this or anything like that, but yeah. But as long as you take care of it, it lasts for years. And I mean, I've been airbrushing for 7-8 years. Like, a lot of airbrushing. But I'm not, you know, I don't consider myself an expert in airbrushing. And in fact, in my observation, miniature painters do not use the airbrush to the maximum of its ability. Most miniature painters treat it just like a spray gun, right? Versus people who work on canvas and illustration boards and stuff like that, auto body, they are true masters of airbrushing. Anybody who's doing that stuff, because they're using the airbrush the way its name intends. It's a brush, and so they're drawing with it, and you know what I mean. And it's all about the control. They're using it like a proper brush, like a tool. Versus miniature painters, in my observations, they're just using it like a spray gun. Nobody really uses it like a brush. It's a spray gun. So, you know. Now, I'm sure that there's probably plenty of people in miniature painting who use airbrush a lot, who also may do canvas work and work with the airbrush as well, like like a proper brush. That's cool. I don't know who, but I'm sure somebody out there is. Jeffers, all hail, Monkey Lord. We are not worthy. Well, thank you. Sergeant Jack Brown, thanks. That was really helpful. Awesome. I'm glad that was helpful. Alrighty, let's jump over. Excuse me. Let's jump over here. Because I missed this morning, because I think they did like the Twitch thing, right? They did a Twitch live thing showing everything off. Excuse me. So the preview was that Faith and Damnation. So what did we get? They're saying we got some Age of Sigmar, some 40k, some Necromunda, and some Underworlds. All right, let's dive in. Jameson ads. Nice. Throwing Jameson ads at me. It's just video. So, Age of Sigmar, Undead Conquerors of the Mortal Realms. Ooh, skeleton duties. Oh, look at these guys. Oh, these guys are freaking cool looking. Hells yeah. Look at that. We got that right frame yet. I like that. I think the cloth feels a little stiff, but, you know, whatever. It doesn't feel as flowy as like usual stuff. You know what I mean? Vern. Oh, I like that. I like the banner. When they offer these banners and they have the design already, on the surface, it's sculpted onto the surface, I think they should offer another alternative that's perfectly flat for somebody to freehand whatever the hell they want on that space. Because otherwise somebody's got to basically redo that banner. And that's kind of a pain in the ass in itself. Oh yeah, look at that. It's very interesting how they go for this almost monochromatic type look with the model, right? Is you have the gold and the bone as kind of neutral tones, but you have this dark red and this brighter red. That's just kind of interesting. Is that it? Oh, just the 3 picks? Aw. Lame. Yeah, I like that, though. What are these guys called? What the hell are they called? Blood Knight Cavalry? Cool. Yeah, they look pretty darn cool. Some skeletons. Not bad. And skeletons. Straightforward. I like how their armor on their chests is all broken up. That's funny. It's funny. It makes me lull. I like that on the guy, buddy on the left there. His chest armor's broken, but you can see like bone. That's kind of cool. That's a nice touch. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. Oh, that's it? Just 3 picks? Oh. Pretty cool, though. Oh, what's this? Zambies. Some Zambies. Goddamn Zambies. Buddy's got an axe in his head. Ouch. He's like, help me out, bud. Got a splitting headache. Buddy's got roots growing out of him. I think I met her once or twice. The one on the right I'm talking about. Oh, and Buddy with the thing on his back. Yeah. Now, wait a second. Weren't these for the new box? The Warhammer Quest box? Buddy's brain is like coming right out of his forehead. That's hilarious. Yeah, these are pretty cool. I like the shit's poked right into them though. That's funny. And I like Buddy's expression with his axe in his head. It's like it impacted the speech center of his brain, so now he no longer can talk properly because he's got a big axe in his head. Oh, look at this. Vampire bats. Can we click on these? Oh, I can't click on these? Son of a bitch. What a chip. Yeah, they're pretty cool. They're bats. The heads on them, if the heads are separate bits, definitely could see those going on other models. And the wings, of course. The wings are pretty cool. You always need more bat wings. I like that cover art. That's pretty cool. The Soul Blight Gravelords. Ooh, let's just throw a bunch of words together. Soul Blight Gravelords. Curse City, that's it. Curse City. The time is due. It's due, is it? Dire Chasm? Chasm? Dire Chasm? Oh, this dude. Yeah, I saw pictures of this dude earlier. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just framing it up a little better here. I like it. It's kind of cool. I like the axe. I like the incorporation of like the bone elements all over these models. Ever since the resculpt of Nagash, we've seen this kind of visual theme playing out on the model surfaces and everything. I dig it. That's cool. Sorry, I'm just still kind of looking at it. Those things dangling around his neck, those look like those Necron things. Those big floaty things. I don't know what the hell they're called. It's Necron stuff. He looks more like a Blood Bowl player. It looks like more like Blood Bowl armor. And why isn't he wearing any pants? Him too. No pants. Very, very pretty. Pretty darn cool. Ooh, he's got something in his hand. Watch out. Watch out. Got a big sword for chopping you in half. I like this dude. This dude's pretty cool looking though. I mean, you know, they're freaky deaky bone dudes, right? But, yeah. Necromunda, Faith, Fire, and Fury. This is for Cawdor. House Cawdor. Very, very cool. I still have my Cawdor gang. I was thinking about, like, you know, not hanging on to them. Not possessing them anymore. I like this. Very redemptionist. These are some extreme zealots, I would assume, for their faction. I like this dude. This dude's cool, kind of cool. Not cool in the sense that we'd go get a beer. I doubt this guy drinks a beer. Maybe just the blood of heretics. This guy's hairstyle looks like something out of anime. What the hell's that one? The guy with the demon half. One half of, or his arm's a demon. I can't remember the name of the damn show. I like his auto pistols. I like how like the bullets are just chained into the gun. And in Necromunda, like it always had this vibe that, you know, like everybody was scrounging for all their equipment. Whereas in this iteration of Necromunda, everybody's weapons are kind of standardized and it seems like everybody's pretty well equipped, you know? Whereas before it was like, you know, the real struggle of Necromunda was surviving because basically there's nothing down there. I'm not saying I don't dig the current iteration of Necromunda. I really dig the current iteration of Necromunda, but yeah. He also didn't drill out the barrels. He didn't drill out the barrels! Triggered! Necromunda Hive War. Is this the new box? Oh, okay. Oh, look at that. Look at that. So they're offering the little tiles and come with the little wall sections. Give you a gang of what? Escher versus Delac. Is that what we're looking at here? Yeah, it's Delac. You get the little walls, you get the little barricades, you get some dice, cards, tokens. Yeah. It's not bad. It's not bad. Is this on par with, say, the Dark Uprising box set? I don't know. I suspect it's not. So it better not carry that same price tag for sure. Because, I mean, you're not getting quite as much shit in there. Like, it looks like it's like, what, 2 sprues of walls with the sprues of obstacles? But, I mean, you know, it gets you in the game, right? I mean, you buy the box, you're in the game. You're in. You're in. You buy the box, that's your cost of admission, you're in. You're in. I haven't been reading the comments here. The Flood Knights, thanks. Derek Looters, where are we going? We don't need pants. Some Warhammer 40k. Holy carmoles. Glory to the Omnissiah. Omnissiah? 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 Is it Omnissiah or Omnissiah? Or is it more of a potato type thing? I'm not clicking that vid just because. Oh, look at this guy. I mean, I don't really get fired up for, the mechanical guys, but, it's kind of cool. He looks like a proper kind of general, I would assume. What is he? Like a marshal? He's a marshal. Skitari Marshal. That sounds like an actor's name. Who's that? That's that actor from that movie. Who's that? Skitari Marshal. Oh, yeah. I really like their work in this other film. I was trying to have a mock conversation with myself and failed utterly. Oh, are they getting a book? Oh, okay, is that what's going on here? Adeptus Mechanicus with a new book. Can't say I'm really excited about it, but, cool. The Armored Fist of the Emperor. Oh, we get tanks for the Sisters of Battle. Okay, so this is what we're talking about? The Predator tank for the Sisters? Yeah, why not? Why not? Because, I mean, in the lore of Warhammer 40,000, the Rhino chassis is ambiguous with human technology, right? A Rhino, it should be like a standard, military fighting platform. And so I would assume many arms, you would assume like even Imperial Guard would have Rhinos, for troop transports or, things of that nature. Just because, the way they describe the STD situation in the 41st millennium, that, the way of, making things has been lost. But I like all the little filigree work on the tank, though. I like that. I thought that was painted at first, but I think it's sculpted all over the model. I think that's cool. The headlamps are fun. I'm wondering, though, if this is a completely unique chassis. Like it was sculpted just for this army, or is this a Rhino sprue with a bunch of add-ons, or a Predator sprue with a bunch of add-ons? I mean, it would be more efficient if it was a Rhino with, the additional stuff, but there's a lot of additional stuff. I mean, like the basic shape. Like even like hull panels and stuff like that, like make me believe that this is a unique sculpt. Like I'm seeing like the little alcoves in the side of the tank, and like they look like they're recessed in. I mean, it could be just good design and what have you, but yeah. Like realistically, like it'd only be like the walls and the tracks of a regular Predator kit, and then everything else is all embellishment, because like the exhaust, the guns, all the filigree work, the gun barrels, the mounts, the shields, everything. Like, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this was a completely different. Oh, look at this! It's got multi-barreled. It's got a big barrel and a multi-barrel. I like how the gunner has their helmet lifted up too. That's kind of cool. I kind of like the double barrel thing. Can I click on it? I can't click on it? Oh, for fuck's sakes. What is it? Fans of the Emulator and Exodus tanks will immediately feel right at home with the Baroque stylings of the Castigator. Castigator? With plenty of ornamental filigree adorning every surface, even the cannon barrel. We can't wait to see whole squadrons of Adepta Sorta tanks rolling out when these arrive on the tabletop. Yeah, interesting. I think it's kind of cool. It's a tank. I'm sure I have no knowledge, and I'm talking out of my ass at this point, but I'm sure this definitely will help their armies, because I just firsthand look. I mean, it doesn't seem like they have a lot of like proper range tanks, but what do I know? Meet the beast snaggers. Snaggers. Oh, look at this guy. That's cool. It's kind of like the old boar riders, but it's a squig. It's not a boar, it's a squig. I like that. That's very cool. I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't lie either way, but it looks like he's holding on to like its skin. He's grabbing onto his flub. Oh, that's it? Aw. Yeah, I like this model. And I think, like, you know, with orcs, you definitely have to lean into every, you know, opportunity to have squigs as something, like, because everything should be orcs and squigs, grots and snotlings, and you know, yeah, it makes sense. Like, instead of, because in the old fantasy, right, the orcs were riding boars, and in the old fantasy world, sure, boars were all over the place, but it would have been more fun if they were riding squigs. Like, they're just like orcs, you know, just have access to their own shit, and squigs is their shit. So they have big squigs, little squigs, even squigs on rocks. Well, that's it. That was the preview. A tank, a squig, Demptus Mechanicus, Duder in the book, new Necromunda box set. Like, Buddy here, like, where's he going? He's going to get blasted right in the face. But he does not really seem that concerned about it. Even though the person about to blast him in the face has, like, a really angry expression on her face. Like, she's seconds from pulling the trigger. And he's just going to disappear because that's a plasma gun. Unless, of course, she only rolls a flesh wound. Oh, yeah, Cawdor. Yeah, I don't know if I'll pick this book up. I don't know if I'm going to keep my Cawdor. Yeah. Oh, vampires, yeah. Vampire Duders. Yeah, Vampire Duders are pretty cool. I dig them. Yeah. Vampire Duders. I dig them. They're pretty cool. I think in the future, though, Games Workshop, along with this banner, with the sculpted details, give the people a clear banner so that they can freehand whatever designs that they want on there. But, yeah. Do that. I like them, though. They're pretty cool. And it's kind of surprising that they actually didn't really lean too heavily into the whole Bram Stoker's Dracula. You know, the Coppola movie, where, you know, Vlad is wearing his bright red bone armor. Because you saw a lot of that, like, back in the day, where, you know, they had this really kind of, you know, that ridged armor. Well, I guess in the pictures, I guess it kind of looks it's kind of inspired by it, but it's not, you know, which is cool. You know, I mean, like, there's nothing wrong being inspired by, I mean, you know, but anyway, where the hell am I? Arthur Bugorsky. I'll say Bugorsky. That looks like a War Machine, not 40K. The tank? You think the tank looks for War Machine? Yeah? I don't know. Are we talking about the tank or are we talking about the squig? I don't know when he mentioned that comment. I mean, the Sister Battle Tank, like, it's not, like, it doesn't bother me. Does it, you know, fit within the established lore of Warhammer 40,000? Yeah, it does. And it's got consistent design elements on it with the rest of the Sister stuff, even from years ago. You know, the Gothic arches and the fleur-de-lis. The filigree is kind of new, which is why I'm kind of curious to know if that filigree is actually sculpted onto that hull, or if it is separate on a sprue and you cut those out and you put those on to the model. Because if you have to do that, I can see many people not doing that. I can see if you have to carefully cut that off for the sprue and attach it to the tank, I can see a lot of people not putting them on their tanks. Definitely. But, I mean, like, it's Sister Battle. I mean, you know, what do you want? It's got some big honking exhaust, too. And, like, why would it need those 4 exhausts around the weapon? Which means that the manifold, like, it means that the engine is what, centrally located on the tank? But the vents on the back would indicate that the engine is at the back, but the engine can't be back there because oftentimes there's a door back there, like for troops, right? So where exactly is the engine on a Rhino? Where? I know, trying to make sense of, you know, silly sci-fi stuff does not make a lot of sense. I get it. I get that. And I'm pretty sure I've made that argument before. But where is an engine on a Rhino? On a Land Raider, it's fairly apparent, right? Because the engine's right at the back of the tank. There's nothing else at the back of the tank, and it's got those great big honking exhausts coming at the back, and so it's not difficult to imagine that that's where the engine is. But on a Rhino, it has the dual exhaust around that side door, and also a door out the back. So yeah, the floor must house a flat engine. It must be like a 12-cylinder inline engine, and the manifold is on both sides, and you know they need to run that way, right? Which doesn't seem too smart to me for a tank design, because that makes that tank very susceptible to mines. If we're thinking logically about these things, right? Because if the tank hit a mine, it could possibly break the engine, and typically tanks are not that well armored underneath. So that means that blast would come right up through the tank's engine, knocking the tank out, right? And yeah, you're done. You're done at that point, right? So, yeah. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Rhinos don't make a lot of sense. But, you know, whatever. If we're going to get logical about all this silliness. James again. Afternoon, Kris. Afternoon, everyone. Afternoon. Was it an early start today? Am I late? Drunk? Are you? I can't speak to the drunk thing. Are you late? I don't know. I don't know when you... I mean, it's not like we have a clock here where everybody punches in. I mean, like, you know... It's not like we're on that kind of schedule, right? No, early start? No, I started right at 12. It's always 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, GMT -5. Is it still -5 GMT, or is it -4 now? Because we just had our daylight savings thing where we lost an hour, or gained it. No, we went forward an hour, so we lost an hour. Right? It's dumb. But anyway, yeah, I don't... Is GMT still -5, or is it -4? Because I know at one point it was -4. Then it switched. I don't know. Arthur Bogoski. The mechanical dude. You were talking about the mechanical dude. Gotcha. Oh, yeah, the mechanical dude looks like War Machine. Yeah, because he looks kind of steampunkish, right? Yeah. Yeah, he looks like he should have like the exhaust coming out his back, and he's... Yeah. I get you. I hear you now. I wasn't sure what it was before, but I get you now. Corvix plays, I want to convert one of these into Black Templar one. Ha ha ha. Flintstone powered style. Yeah, are they Flintstone powered? I mean, again, like the Rhino. I mean, like, realistically, not realistically, because you can't really claim realism in Warhammer 40,000. It's just, it's that's an exercise in futility. It's silly made up stuff, right? And it works for sci-fi reasons, right? But I'm trying to find a Rhino. Like here's another bad idea. If we're gonna talk about bad ideas, let's talk about bad ideas. So, a Land Raider. Now I realize that the placement of these things can be different, but in most iterations of the Rhino or the Land Raider, which this does kind of make sense as far as layout is concerned, having those doors on the side be where they are, because it makes sense that if it's a compartment in the center of the tank where the front loading works and those side doors, so you can disembark from the front and the sides, right? Why in the middle of a firefight would you have that door try to swing open when those guns are pointed forward? They would most likely either knock into the guns, Or if you deployed the tank and you were coming through and those tanks were firing forward, or those laser beams were fighting forward, you'd end up getting shot. So you'd have your own instances of friendly fire, right? But if you're imagining that the engine's at the back, where it would appear, right? Logically, it looks like it appears at the back. Then the power cells for the las cannons, are back there with it. So it's a very back-heavy tank, which is fine. I mean, it's it's just a tank, right? But yeah. Ooh, Green Knights. Yeah. And yeah, you can even see like the bits and bobs inside, right? Like the little doodads and everything. It's gold tank. Oh, Sprue's a tank. Anyway. I was initially looking for the Rhino. I couldn't find the Rhino. Oh, piss off. Where's the Rhino? Rhino. Because where is the engine on a Rhino, right? Yeah, here we go. Here's a Rhino. Right? Any of you really smart people, tell me where the Rhino, where the engine is on a Rhino. Because those two exhausts, which I would assume are for an engine, if those exhausts are for an engine, where's the engine? Because a Rhino opens in the back and the top, apparently. The driver's right in the front where those vision slits are. So there's a driver there. Possibly another person as well. So where is the engine? It works because it needs to work. Here we go. Let's click the 360 here. Ooh, 360. Damn. Yeah, see? So like, because the door opens up, so the engine's not in the back. And there's really not enough room for it in the front. Yeah. So the engine would have to be an inline 12-cylinder. I'm just saying 12 cylinders because, more cylinders the better, right? But anyway, yeah, an inline 12-cylinder, or well, I guess, 6-cylinder each side. So because you have two exhausts, right, which means that there's two manifolds, and so yeah, it would be two inline engines, and their manifolds going like that. I don't know. Either way, Rhinos don't make a lot of stuff in 40K doesn't make a lot of sense. So Derek Luterus, Rhino probably mid-engine design behind the driver. Behind the driver? But then how do they get how do they get into the hatches? Because there's the hatches right above their heads, and then where the hatch is, and then there's that door that opens up to the crew compartment, or not the crew compartment, but like the transport compartment. Again, I know we're talking about silly made up stuff here, but yeah, like it's just kind of fun to point out these things because see here, let's go to this frame right here. I know this whole show is going to be me ripping apart where Rhino's engine is. Anyway, yeah, see in the middle there where the hatches are, right? The driver sits right in front of those circles. And then that crew compartment and the engine is that thin space because there's a wall right behind those hatches and that door. And there's a whole detail. Where's that detail? On that wall inside there. Yeah, right there on the lower left. There's a door which goes to the driver, and then there's this console with a gun. And that's right behind the driver. So I don't even know how somebody gets to that hatch. I don't know, man. Is he Star Wars? I don't know. Either way, rhinos. They should be all over the place for 40K. Everybody should have rhinos. Imperial Guard should have rhinos. Sisters of Battle should have rhinos. Space Marines should have rhinos. Inquisitors should have rhinos. Mechanicus definitely should have rhinos because they're the ones building the damn things. And you know what I mean? Like they should just be all over the place because, you know, is at least the way it was always described in Warhammer 4000, because it's the Dark Age of technology, and that blueprint is so versatile that because everything else is built off of the Rhino chassis, right? Predators, whirlwinds, you know what I mean? All these things. And, you know, yeah. And I mean, it keeps with the theme of the universe of the Dark Age of technology because, you know, yeah, they have this stupid tank design, apparently, where there's no engines. And, you know, and so, yeah, they definitely should be carting around and shit, right? Anyway. Where the hell am I? James and Kent. Tanks also don't typically have cathedral parts on top either, of course. We are -4 now. Yeah, well, the cathedral parts, sure. Right? I mean, because, like, Sisters of Battle, typically they're not, like... I mean, at least to my understanding, they're not typically frontline soldiers. They're more like, you know, keeping the peace on a planet, right? Because they're part of the church and they're a fighting arm of the church. And so, you know, they're typically garrisoned on planets that, you know, they're keeping in order. So a tank that is really kind of ornate with, you know, like the horns and, you know, the relics and stuff like that, you know, that's fine because, you know, it's what, you know, obviously is the focal point for, you know, their ministry as they go about, you know, preaching the gospel, as it were. But yeah. Oh man, Logan, maybe rhinos are Flintstone powered? Yeah, they might be. I don't know. Maybe it's a big bluff. Maybe the Space Marines are all inside the rhino. They all hold it up. And you can see like, all their feet underneath as they move it around. And in fact, you know, it's kind of like in the Second World War when they were faking out the Germans and the Allies basically made a bunch of cardboard tanks and stuff like that so that it looked like there was this big, you know, invasion force and everything like that. And it was all just a decoy. Anyway. Jeffers, we love bad ideas. Let's talk. Corvonics. Mid-engine, I guess. Mid-engine? I guess, right? I mean, because I'm imagining if it's a tank, it's going to have a nice, big, beefy engine, right? So it'd be like a 12-cylinder inline engine. So if it's a 12-cylinder, then and it's got 4 exhausts, I would imagine one side has 6 cylinders, right? Nice, big, beefy, you know, diesel, whatever type of engine, because I would assume it's a piston-driven engine, right? Just because. 6 cylinders on this side, 6 cylinders on this side. Because it's an inline engine, all 6 cylinders are in a line, of course, right? And then, of course, you have your the valve manifold on top, and then, of course, the exhaust manifold extends from that, which would lead to the 2 exhausts coming straight up the sides of the tank, because those the engine block itself would be kind of almost centralized inside the Rhino, because the exhausts are mostly centralized. Why the exhausts are centralized like that as opposed to, say, at the back of the tank away? Because, I mean, like, where that one... Am I still in the Rhino? I am still in the Rhino. Okay, so, like, for example, yeah. Like, if you were in the middle of a fight, right? If you were in the middle... not this picture. There we go. If you're in the middle of a fight, do you really want that hot exhaust? See, like, the exhausts that are furthest forward, it's right near that smoke launcher. Or that little launcher thing on the thing. So that little launcher could get heated up during the course of a battle and prematurely fire. The little radar dish, the exhaust from... Because these exhausts are in line with those hatches and that radar dish, that can potentially interfere depending upon what the fuel source is and how much exhaust is coming out of the tank, right? Like, just imagine in idling mode, like there's just a big plume of smoke coming out of the top of this tank. If you came out that top hatch... in the middle of a fight, you're gonna man that bolter. You got this freaking exhaust billowing out beside your face. Like, these are not smart designs for fighting. Look how close that exhaust is to where the hatch is. I guess the storm bolter is automated, right? So, but either way, you stick your mug out that hatch, and yeah, you're breathing in a mouthful of smoke. Not terribly smart, just not terribly smart designs. As far as a military fighting vehicle is concerned. Again, though, we've talked about this in the past, that Warhammer 40,000, the universe that it portrays, is not a blueprint for the future. If anything, it is a do not do lesson. Do not do? Yeah, do not do. You just don't do this. These are all horrible, horrible ideas that probably will not work. But anyway. Morton. Why are the cannons on the side? That cannon can only cover one side. Right, exactly right. Like a Land Raider. Why are these big powerful lasers on one side of the tank? Right? Why wouldn't you have them elevated on top of the tank, still independent, but can fire together in a forward firing position, but split fire accordingly? Right? Why wouldn't those last cannons be higher up onto the tank? Right? Like two little sponsons on the top of the tank so that they could both fire in the same direction and fire off into other directions, and, instead of on the side of the tank, because now you only have high-powered weapon firing this direction, high-powered weapon this direction, and maybe if the target's big enough, fire both at the same thing in front of the tank, right? Because there is a blind spot in the front of that tank that those cannons can't fire at. Versus if they were elevated, they could still fire downward, right? Anyway, again, it all falls apart when we try to logic this stuff out. And don't even get me started on Space Marine flyers and shit like that, because they don't make any sense. James Kent, one engine, either side, one for each track. Right, that's what I'm saying. Like one big 6-cylinder engine on this side, one big 6-cylinder engine on this side. So it's a 12-cylinder engine, because it'd be like one block, but the manifolds would go off in two different directions like that. The pistons would travel in this direction, so the camshafts run this way, right? Why? Well, then now here's the problem now, because if it's an inline 12-cylinder engine, those camshafts and the crankshafts are in the center, which early Rhinos did show. They had the crankshaft running through the center, the axle, but that still would need to go to the wheels. So you have to have a differential in the back that runs off to the wheel. Again, it's because of the placement of the exhaust, it makes a lot of assumptions as to where the engine is. Versus if the exhausts were further to the back, or like one central thing up in the back, you know what I mean? Something sort of logical, right? But they were going for cool. So, it's cool. Rhinos are cool, apparently. Jabba's left nut. Maybe the Rhino is like a Tesla. It's battery because the Imperium cares about the environment. The Imperium does. In what way would we even think that the Imperium is environmentally friendly? In what instance? Anybody who's read a lot of the material, please make the case that the Imperium is green. The Imperium is green. Please, somebody, because I cannot think of any instance where the Imperium is green, other than recycling humans. But recycling humans to feed to humans does not seem... I don't know, something about it doesn't seem ethical, but, whatever. I know, made up silly shit, I get it, but still. Corvonix plays, think about the front engine bus. Sure. So where's the engine in the front, though? Because the driver, the way they illustrate the front of a tank, or like the way they illustrate the Rhino, do a quick search. They did an exploded view, and maybe the exploded view shows where the engine is. Because I used to have the poster back in the day. I don't know what happened to it. Maybe I gave it to somebody. But either way, it showed like where the driver is. He's like, his head is like right where that little visor is, like in the front of the tank. His head is like pretty much right there, and the rest of his body is forward like that. And he's got his little control steering thing, and you know what I mean? Like he's right there in the front. But anyway. But yeah, somebody look up that exploded diagram of a Rhino, and maybe somebody can tell me where the engine is, because I don't know. I honestly don't know. Jeffers, they built of Call STC. He pulls things out of his butt. Derek Luderus, I never understood why AdMech couldn't use vehicles from different Imperial armies. Right, because they're making them, right? They would have all the blueprints. So they would have all the designs. So, like, technically, they should have rhinos, and they should have those Primaris hover tanks. Right? The AdMech should have all of the Imperium's toys, because all the Imperium's toys are made on Forge Worlds. Right? They're the guys who make it all. Which in itself is kind of dangerous as well. Which, you know, obviously you see in the Horus Heresy, right? Because half of Mars also defects and, you know, stuff like that. So, anyway. Arthur Bogorski. There are no engines because the Emperor wills it forward on his own. Well, could you imagine how many rhinos there are in the Imperium? Imagine. I can't even imagine. That's it. It's a number that I probably can't even imagine. How many number of rhinos there are in the Imperium amongst all the different factions, right? And if the Emperor is willing them all, we're talking like, you know, trillions of rhinos in the Imperium all fighting on all sorts of different battlefields and different times, and, you know, that's a lot of will. And I thought that the Emperor was, you know, busy keeping the beacon going, right? So, yeah. But maybe it is. Maybe he multitasks. Maybe the Emperor can multitask. Jeffers, don't like the Primaris tanks. Don't like the Primaris? You don't like the Primaris? Or you're just stating don't like the Primaris tanks? Just don't like them. Don't like them, people. Hate them. Hate them. They're coming for your jobs. No fucks given. GW design engineers are 100% orc mechs. It works because they think it works, yeah? Yeah, that could be it too. Maybe that's the same thing. Maybe humans are under a similar delusion as orcs that, you know, it just works because it works, right? Because again, yeah, like the flyers and stuff like that in 40K, they're not aerodynamic at all. Eldar designs are barely aerodynamic. Tau are kind of aerodynamic, but I mean, you know, they're really freaky deaky alien designs. Whereas like the Imperium is supposed to be close to what we imagine as technology is concerned, right? So, you know, you can always explain away freaky deaky alien stuff as to why it works. But the Imperium, we hold the Imperium to a tighter scrutiny because the technology really is not that far off from what we have, right? So, just more of it, thicker and durable, and you know what I mean? And all these reasons. Aaron Seach. What if the stacks go to 4 small engines and inside there are coupled together in a transmission and final drive assembly that's under the driver's feet, like World War II tanks? Sure, like I said, yeah. But having your engine right under the tank like that, I mean, that because most tanks are not are armored very well underneath. And so your engine being exposed like that, right? And take your tank out. I mean, you know, but I mean, a mine is going to take most people's tanks out anyway, but I don't know. Morton, they're similar to an M113, are they? Yeah, they kind of are, yeah. And I think that's what is in front of Games Workshop. That's the Rhino they have, and I'm pretty sure it's a modified that tank. But where's that tank's engine? Corvotics. Just the facts that Terra is still going without water and trees is proof of how it is not a blueprint for the future. Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, like, you can make up any reason for, you know, allowing the natural destruction of the environment, you know, as far as, you know, humanity progressing, because Earth is like the central government of the empire, right? So, but yeah, I mean, like, again, I'm not sure how the Imperium is green. How is Imperium green? I would like to see somebody try and plead a case that the Imperium of Man in Warhammer 40,000 is green. But anyway, Old Man Logan, damn it, you have now ruined rhinos for me, tossing my tank in the trash. That's what I do. I ruin things. Derek Luderus, Imperium care about what's in the environment, right? But where you have to show me an example of how they demonstrate that they care about the environment, that they are green, that the Imperium man is green, that they're all about protecting the environment. Because I don't see it. Corvonix plays. Well, in front engine bus, the driver's seat sometimes is above the engine. Okay, wait, what? In the front engine bus, the driver's seat sometimes is above the engine. Oh, right, yeah, like the driver's sitting where the engine is. Right, but if you look at an exploded view of the Rhino, there's not a lot of room where that driver is sitting. And there's no cockpit for him to like climb out of other than the hatch above. And of course, because we know that details inside, there's only the one door blocking off that section of the Rhino, right? So he's got to, the driver has to get in through the door on the sides or the back to get to the driver's spot, right? Because he's kind of sealed in the front. He's going down with the tank anyway. Because he's not likely to make it out. And also, like, why would a driver inside a tank, right, be wearing his armor? Like, why would a Rhino driver be in his armor? He's not really expected to fight. And, you know, if the Rhino gets disabled or destroyed, it's not like he jumps out and is, you know, joining the fight, right? And drivers, they're specialized because aren't they tech marines? Aren't the drivers of all the equipment tech marines? So these are specially trained. These are like Air Force pilots. Like there's a lot of resources invested in these guys. Maybe that's why they should wear their armor, I guess, because they're kind of valuable. Like they're probably the most valuable space marines, the tech marines, or the tech marines, because they're the drivers, they're the fixers, you know what I mean? They're upkeeping all the equipment and yeah. But why does a tech marine have to be a marine? Why can't the guys who work on space marine equipment and drive the equipment just be one of their serfs, right? Why does it have to be a tech marine? Because a tech marine is pretty valuable. Because not only does he have to go through the marine training, he also has to go through all the biological changes, and then he's got to go in for his, mentorship on Mars, right? Like there's a lot of time spent in building a tech marine. And you're going to throw him in a Rhino? The cheap-ass transport to get nuked? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Why would they do that? It's so expensive just to waste them off on, you know, a 50-point vehicle. Something like a vehicle that doesn't even constitute a choice in the force org of making your army. Rhino is just a gimme, right? I mean, like, you know, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Oh, man, where the hell am I? I don't even know. Jeffers. Me, personally, I dislike them. Too much junk on them, and to power the anti-grav would take up most of the hull. Wouldn't be able to fit anything on it. Well, assuming that, assuming that the anti-grav technology requires a big power plant. But the anti-grav technology can't be that powerful or require that big a power source because speeders have the small engines in the back, right? That provides the thrust, and they got the great big thrusters, jet engines in the back, and they got big intakes as well. So the majority of that engine space is that jet engine. And so does the anti-grav not require that much power? You know? Don't know. Again, made up shit, right? So does it really matter? Not really. Aaron Seach, nobody claimed it was a good design, Monkey Lord. No. Dimitri Apodin, hello. No fucks. They care about what's in the environment so they can extract it and make more weapons. Yeah, but that's not green. That's exploitation. I don't know if you know how environmentalism works. Fire Drake 18. Hello, I don't know what's going on or where I am. I should at least know one of those. You should, I would assume. Yeah. Morton, an M113's engine is in the front on the left side, right next to the drive. Oh, really? Okay. Well, maybe that's what a Rhino is. It's like the driver, and he's got the engine right beside him. But again, why four exhausts that come up like that in those, and especially in the forward portion of the tank? Why does the exhaust come up right where people need to operate? People are going to be operating, because I mean, again, it's not just Space Marines who operate these things. It's Sisters of Battle, and it's Imperial Guard, and it's, right? Or at least Imperial Guard should have Rhinos. They got Chimeras. Now, if Chimeras are abundant enough to keep Imperial Guard regiments happy, why doesn't the Chimera show up in Space Marine armies and Sister Battle armies? And you know what I mean? Like, why isn't the Chimera there? Because apparently Chimera is a pretty common design, because there's a bunch of things designed off the Chimera chassis. So why doesn't the Chimera show up in Space Marine armies or Sister Battle armies, right? These are the things that keep me up at night. No fucks. If they could create something to swallow a whole planet and disperse the materials to a forge world. That sounds like Tyranid shit to me. Dimitri. Wait a second, Kris. I'm waiting. Are you trying to find logic in 40K? I know, again, we're having this discussion again. And I've been... holy shit, it's already 20 minutes after 1? Good God. Oh, no, I was talking about the preview earlier, though. I was thinking to myself that, oh my God, have I been on this? Where's a Rhino's engine? Oh my God. Jeffers. The lore of Tech Marines being pilots got chucked out and retcon. Okay, so who drives the Rhinos then? Regular Space Marine? Again, does the driver of a Rhino really need to be a Space Marine? Because again, it's kind of expensive bit of gear. A Space Marine is not cheap, because you got to find these worthy souls, and then you got to go through the lengthy process of converting them into a super soldier, and then train them to use his super soldiery abilities, right? Like, a lot of work goes into making a Space Marine, and then he's just going to be driving a fucking Rhino? Like, I'd be pissed. If I was a Space Marine, I'd be pissed. It's like, I'm going to go into battle with my brand new armor and my big fucking bolt gun, and I'm going to blow away the heretics of the Imperium. Oh no, sorry, Bill, you got to drive the Rhino. Ah, fuck, I got to drive the Rhino? Damn it. Put my bolt gun away, and might as well take my armor off, because it's no point fucking wearing it. Going to be cramped inside this fucking Rhino. See, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Even if it's just a normal Space Marine, it doesn't make a lot of sense, because that's an expensive bit of personnel to have in that position. Fire Drag 18. Oh, don't they drive themselves? I thought they use scented oils and candles. Scented oils. They do bath bombs. Chimeras are very cheap and explode, so the Guard have them. Right, but the Imperium is all about design, functionality, and ease of maintenance and manufacture. Well, if Chimeras are so easy to manufacture and produce that they can outfit an Imperial Guard battalion with them, then why aren't Chimeras more prevalent in 40K, right? Why isn't a Chimera the standard of, human type vehicles? But instead we see the Rhino is, right? Anyway. Jeffers, normal Marine or Servitor? Yeah, a Servitor. I would assume a Servitor. The Servitors should always be the pilots, right? Or some sort of serf, right? Some guy, just something, like a pilot for a Thunderhawk really should be a Servitor, or a human pilot of the Imperial Navy kind of thing, right? There's a whole other procedure there. I mean, because Space Marines, they're made for fighting, so having them fly doesn't make a lot of sense, right? You're going to invest all this resource into making this, human tank, and then you're going to stick him in a cockpit of a plane just to get shot down by a missile? Like, seems kind of like a huge waste. But again, it is the Imperium. James of Kent, to sum up, Rhinos are 40K Ubers. Space Marines have the app. Call an Uber. Rhino shows up. Jump in. Yeah, we're heading this way. All right. The Uber driver's a servitor. I will take you to your destination. Anyway, Derek Luter is Tech Marine leading a tank driving course. Got to get that license. Corvonics plays. Well, they usually don't get out, so I think it's just very good. It's a very good servitor. Well, sure, because a servitor, it's kind of like if you ever watched the Arnold Schwarzenegger Total Recall. Remember the Johnny and was it Johnny Cab? Johnny Cab. That's what I imagine for a Rhino. Is they build the Rhino, and Mechanicus are already making a shit ton of servitors, so they just take a servitor, program them with whatever chapter needs, whatever kind of programming, maybe whatever tactics they use, or equipment loadouts or whatever. Right? They load that servitor up, slap them in the Rhino, ship them off. Right? Get the next tank. Oh, this one's going to the Dark Angels? Yeah, this one's got the Razorback feature, so he's got the cannon on top. Okay, well, get the servitor, download the information, bang. There we go, slap him in the Razorback, send him off, right? That makes more sense to me rather than, training a Tech Marine to drive, who's a very expensive piece of gear, who definitely should not really be seeing a lot of frontline action. But then again, why have a Tech Marine if he's going to be your guy to fix your equipment, maintain your equipment, right? And be a human tank, right? He's got the Space Marine armor, and he's got the big claw doodad thingy on his back, and well, I guess if he's on the battlefield, then you need battlefield repairs, I suppose. It's expensive. That's an expensive piece of gear, though, to throw it onto a battlefield. Just because, he's twice as valuable as a regular Marine. Same with an apothecary, for the most part. I think a Tech Marine would be more trickier to acquire than an apothecary. Apothecary, you just give him a manual. Here's the anatomy of a Space Marine. When he dies, retrieve this organ. Oh, okay, pretty easy, right? It's like it's a learning annex on a weekend kind of thing to become an apothecary. But to become a Tech Marine, it takes an apprenticeship, and you come back 5 years later and with your your diploma in Tech Marining. Tech Marining? Is that a proper syntax? Tech Marining? Anyway. Fuck, where am I? Fire Gigantine. I have a theory. Where did all the squads go? They all became pilots and drives. Boom. Yeah, that's it. They all became servitors. The Imperium just said, no, screw it. Mass genocide. We're turning them all into servitors. Because of their plump little bodies. They take up less space. That sounds awful. Jeffers, Space Marines drive due to their superior reflexes and reaction time. Would they? A servitor who was programmed with, combat maneuvers and stuff like that, you're telling me that he couldn't perform the job just as well? Carvonics, because it's almost like, a step down from a computer, a servitor, right? Because a servitor is a living brain, but can be programmed, and a computer, right? So, what would make a Space Marine's brain all that much better in that regards? Super fast reflexes? Because from what I understood, the Space Marine suit is what augments a lot of his abilities as well. His strength, his speed, and, stuff like that. Is the suit also provides a lot of that as well. It's not like the Space Marine armor is not just, clung on to the Space Marine and, he moves, the Space Marine suit is supposed to be part of the Space Marine, and it moves with him and augments his abilities, right? So, at least that's the way I always understood Space Marine armor. No fucks given. Marines operate Marine shit because one of the extreme aerial deployments and ramming of tanks, as well as taking damage. The Marines are just much better in everywhere. Also, Primaris Tech Marine, Primaris Tech Marine servitor gunners can't fix their own shit anymore, like the Thunderfire Cannon Tech Marines. Yeah, well, see, when they nerfed the rules of Tech Marines, again, I'm sure normally it probably is a pretty sweet job being a Tech Marine, but I'm sure there's also a lot of red tape involved with Tech Marines. Yeah, I think there is, right? Because they're also, they also know a lot of the secrets of Mars, right? So there also is that they're kind of a secret sect within Space Marine chapters that, you know, the Adeptus Mechanicus have an inside man inside each and every chapter, right? As a Tech Marine, they're basically double agents. Jeffers, the Tech Marine comes back from Mars training, and the chapter master sticks his certificate on the fridge, right on the drop pod, right, or whatever his favorite rhino, his diploma. There you go, buddy. Alex Lego, suit doesn't augment reflexes; it just doesn't encumber them. Well, that's kind of the same kind of thing. I mean, like it doesn't hinder his movement or abilities, but you know what I mean. Like he, yeah, I guess I see what you're saying. Like it doesn't make him, the suit doesn't make him faster, but he's not any slower with the suit on. But I mean, again, it's made up shit. And if they said, yeah, a Space Marine is all because of the suit, well then it's all because of the suit. Fire Dragon, those Tech Marines who graduated with the 2.0, nah, you can't change the oil, but you mostly just drive, right? The Tech Marines who were kind of substandard. The kind of dummies. Yeah, they couldn't change oil. No, you're just going to drive the tanks now. Oh, okay. Do I get to fix things? No, you drive. Just drive the tank, dummy. Alex, Canadian Tire Tech Marines. Yeah, pretty much. Canadian Tire Tech Marines. They're just fucking useless, man. Oh man, you bring your rhino into the shop and he tells you one thing, find out, get your tank back. The work wasn't done. They did something else. Something else breaks, and there's a scratch that wasn't there before. Yeah, I don't ever go to Canadian Tire. They're fucking just useless. Canadian Tire Tech Marines. Jason Kent, episode 338. Just drive the tank, dummy. You know what? I like it. We're gonna go with it. Unless, of course, somebody submits one better, or I just like one better. But yeah, just drive the tank, dummy. Oh shit. Alrighty. Oh, let's jump over to our other little segment of the show today. Whatever, 1:30. Holy cramoles. Yeah, let's do thing I've been incorporating into the show as of late. It's the last, I think, like 3 or 4 episodes I've been starting to do this regularly now, which is looking at Instagram and everybody who uses the hashtag Way of the Brush. Have a peek and have a look. It's not really a comment criticism type of thing. It's just kind of just showing off whatever you guys are working on. So don't be bashful. Don't think, oh my God, I posted such a crappy model and I can't bother showing this off. And, well, you know what I mean? It's not the point. It's not the point. I think though, if you are already, in the leanings of, having the courage to show off your own work, I don't think this would be a huge issue. Just add Way the Brush. All right. Where are we? Oh, look at this. Porpula. Ribbit. Oh, is it just the one image? Oh, what are these from, dude? Okay. Well, I'm going to give it a like. I like that they're slimy looking. Like you put a gloss on them. And I could see like other elements of the models are not glossy, so it's not like you just sprayed a varnish on them and, walked away. I really love the yellow one. The yellow one's fantastic. I did a tutorial ages ago on doing poison frogs. I don't know how big these guys are. They actually look pretty darn small. So really nice work. Nice work on the eyes. Buddy on the right, the red one, he really has that froggy kind of eye look. It looks like Kermit the Frog. Or it's kind of like, kind of like a keyhole iris kind of thing. I don't know what that's called, but anyway. But very cool. I like them. I like the froggies. They're fun. And I'd like to know where they're from. Next one is from Shaky Brush Minis. Behold the golden host. 15 sanguinary guards, the sanguinary ancient, and the old man himself, Dante. Dante? Who the hell's Dante? I really like this picture. I like your terrain. I know, I'm talking about the terrain before I even get to the... I like the little splash of purple and magenta in there. In the shadowy points. I dig that. It is different. The Space Marines look good. Nice and clean. I like your work on the swords. The wings are nice and, poofy. Oh, excuse me. No, it's really good work. Nice and clean. And you drilled at your barrels. Good job. I know everybody who submits a picture is like, I gotta remember to drill at the barrels, otherwise Kris will make fun of me. Is this Dante? Is that who this is? I know that's the ancient. I like the skeleton dude on the I don't know, the relic, I guess, whatever the hell it is, icon. I like that. Yeah, it's really good work. The pose of some of these guys look like they're tipping over. Like the guy in the far back there, he looks like he's falling backwards. He's like, oh, falling over again. Oh, losing my balance. Anyway. Really nice work, Shaky. Awesome stuff. Thanks for using the hashtag. Porpila. Bunch of Graveguard join the skeleton crew. They are now ready for a game of Warcry. Well, let's give this a little hearty heart. I like your work on the shields. The bone looks really good. I kind of wish I could zoom in, but I'm looking at this on the computer screen and I can't zoom in. I can't. I want to though. But no, it looks really good. They look nice and decrepit. I like your inclusion of the little leaves on the base. Add a little splash color. Very, very cool. Disco Duke, or Mini Painter. These are guys getting there now. 2 more left to do, and then on to the bases. I feel like we had a look at these guys last week, though. With the glowiness and the skeletons. Yeah. I mean, it's good work. I like the shield in the one. The leader duder. Duder leader? Duder leader or leader duder? One of the two. Oh! Demon Tho. 5 more Mantic Games Succubi done. I don't know why I have to say Succubi like that, though. Succubi. Using them for a unit of Elf Linebreakers for Oathmark. Cool. Is there more than one pick? No. I like them. I'm not familiar with these models. I don't know how big they are. They don't look very big. But nice and clean. It really is just really nice, clean work. I get the feeling that these are really, really small. And I like that you carefully did their eyes. The eyes, even though because it looks like the eyes are supposed to be like a glowing red, and it doesn't really separate much from the skin because the skin is really quite reddy brown, at least the way I see it on my screen here. But yeah, but it looks really good. Oh, I didn't give it a like. There we go. Now I gave it a like. This is from Alex 7. 2 of 3 down, trying some different sword effects. Cool. Looks good. Doing kind of a non-metallic metal vibe. Is that what's going on here? Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. You have the general gist of it. I think realistically, going forward, you just have to refine the gradients, and I think get used to working smaller and smaller as you lay in, more colors to deepen and tones up and build into specific areas. But I mean, like the streaks and the glints of light running on the surface look fine to me. Oh, pretty darn. Yeah, see, this one looks pretty darn good. Yeah, it's really just about the gradual buildup of tone on those areas to create that illusion, um, and also where you lay your color on each of those facets of the blade. So, for example, the upper portion of the blade, if you build darker towards the tip and say the base, and you have kind of this bright silver gap in the middle, and then the other facet, you build the darker spot in the middle and have it brighter at towards the tip and the base, so that you have this contrast on the facets of one being in darkness and the other being in brightness. And then when you put that edge highlight in, that's what gives you that telltale non-metallic metal look, even though it looks like you're using true metallics. But yeah, you can still do a non-metallic metal. Oh, were we done with that? Yeah, I think we were done with that, right? Yeah, we were done with that. But otherwise, yeah. I think it looks really good. Like I said, it's just refining where you're laying your color down. I realized I said I wasn't going to go into a whole thing looking at these. Oh! Snidely Workshop. Toxic Death Guard Part 3. I really like this. I like the colors. I'm a big fan of bold colors, and I like the visual contrast of the more muted tones of the green and the bone on the armor. And then, sorry, I got a hair in my mouth. There it is. And then you have these really bright purple tones with the slight reddish orange tones. I like that. And on the flesh, it just looks really darn cool. Like, it looks like, he's like, almost like he's melting or something, and he's just got this, power of chaos running through him. Little purple nurglings. I mean, what's not to love about purple nurgling? I like the little purple nurgling with holding the skull. I may collect these little nurglings. I may just start finding more and more of these little nurglings. I don't know why I like nurglings. They're just too damn cute. Yeah, I like it. The weathering's really good. I like the chipping on the feet and stuff like that. No, I dig it. I think your base doesn't have to be quite as bright. I think it could be more muted like the rest of the armor. I would be careful about, how much paint you are laying down, how many layers you're building up. That's a minor. Oh, it's goddamn fluorescence. Okay, that is cool. Yeah. It's like there's a party in my mouth and everybody's invited. Yeah, that's really cool. I dig that. Yeah, this guy's really cool. Well, now that I know the surprise on the head, it looks really cool. The nurglings, though, just stand out like crazy. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. That is a lot of fun, Snidely. Very, very. Did I give it a like? Yeah, I did give it a like. I like it. I like the fluorescence. I dig it. Oh, there's another one. Some more Plague Marines. Oh, this is part 2. The Toxic Death Guard. Yeah, I dig it. And now that I see the fluorescence, because even in person, like those colors have to just jump out at you. On the horns, where you have that orange going to a white at the tip, it almost gives it a molten quality. Like it's molten popping through the armor, and like his head, the spike is coming out of his head. It's really interesting. And I like the little yellow pox things all over the place. Now, you do run the danger playing with that many colors, you know, of it getting too kind of hilarious in color. I realize that you're having a lot of fun, and I don't want to ruin your fun, even though I am about ruining people's fun. But yeah, I would be careful of that, of just having too many colors at play. I realize we're having a lot of fun here, but I mean, you know, fun is fun. But yeah, in the future, I mean, especially if you're going to incorporate something like this into something that you were going to spend a bit more time with, for, you know, kind of competition type thing, or you're going to get judged on it, or I mean, just even display, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know if it really needs all these colors at play. Like the one that I think is unnecessary, looking at this picture, is the blue. I don't think the blue is necessary. I like the yellow and the green though, because I'm sure that yellow in his belly probably just glows. Oh, and that cable is probably just going to look like molten lava here in a sec. Oh yeah, look at the belly. And the Nurgling, he doesn't look like that in the pictures, and then he has those little splooches all over him. And it kind of reminds me of, like, you know, somebody, like a bathroom under a black light kind of thing. But the glowing out of the belly is just intense. Like, look, you can even see how it's glowing on the gun. You can see how, like, that's how luminous that is. It's just so cool. Playing with the fluorescent paints is just too much fun. Oh yeah, look at that on the cable. That's very, very cool, man. Snidely Workshop. There we go. Another heart. This is part 1. And so I guess this is a full group shot of them all. As a unit, it looks fantastic. Getting a whole army done to these guys would look amazing on the table, I think. I don't know if that's your goal, but yeah. Yeah. I think the sword could have did with some color. I think the sword could have been given the molten, you know, and the plasma gun. Well, the plasma gun does it does look like it has the glow on it. But definitely, yeah, that's where I would have been using the fluorescent colors, like the sword and the plasma coils and the demons. I think it definitely adds to the demonic look of the model if those are fluorescent, and especially under black light, they're glowing, because then that adds to that kind of, you know, supernatural vibe. Like the tentacles coming out of his belly, that just looks too awesome. Oh, is that it? That's it. Artur Patet. Oh, we looked at this last week. Yeah. Okay, we done? Wow, that was quite a few to actually get through. Yeah, because I really liked that Necron last time. Yeah, and the Goblin. Yeah. Okay. Well, awesome, folks. Thank you for using the hashtag Way of the Brush. Yeah, keep using it, and you know, I'll definitely try and incorporate into future episodes. But I've been on a pretty good streak lately of, you know, doing this whole Instagram segment of the show. At least I think I have. I don't know. Maybe I haven't. Maybe I've completely shit the bed. I don't know. Both are entirely possible. Comments? Any comments here? Jeffers as a regular bowel movement. 1. TH, a little late, but hi, monkeys. Hi. Arthur Bogorski. Selective use of gloss varnish, I feel like, is the easiest and most underappreciated technique. Always on the eyes of any monstrous creature. Definitely. And to a certain degree, I concur that, yeah, like how a gloss varnish versus a matte varnish versus a satin varnish can impact the perception of a model on the tabletop, right? Like how we finish it, because oftentimes, like, for anybody who's painting for photos or for display or for competition, typically matte finishes, right? Because it's going to get photographed, it's going to, get looked at, and, what I mean? And, all these factors come into play. But, for a lot of us who, want to enjoy viewing them, or even viewing them, on the tabletop, that varnish, being a matte gloss, semi-gloss, right? All have, have play as far as, how we interpret that surface, right? Like, if it's glossy, we imagine it's either wet, slimy, or it's hard and, like armor kind of thing, right? Matte, obviously like a fur and cloth textures, and you know what I mean? Like all these different things, right? I mean, even armor having a matte finish on armor, right? Imagine black with a matte finish. So it has a matte black finish, and that would have that kind of, Dark Knight, tactical, secret, special ops kind of vibe to it, right? I mean, if it was black with, matte black, it has that kind of, night theme kind of thing, right? So all these ways we finish off paint jobs, is another factor, right? I mean, matte, semi, or gloss finish. What do you do? Or a combination of all, right? I mean, some glossy elements, some matte elements, some satin elements, right? And just go around and, really kind of bring the model to life, which I think is probably the most important thing, is breathing life into these little sculptures so that when we're viewing them, in person, and we can explore it from many different angles, it's just too much fun, right? It's nice to look at pictures of models, but you don't get the sense of everything that the sculptor had done, because painting for display, competition, and for camera, it only requires one perspective, and it's fixed, and it provides all the depth necessary. Versus when you view it in person, you can explore, you can see something, oh, it's up here, it's up back there, turn it around, how does it look from this side, the angle, what I mean? Like, there's many different ways to explore miniature, and, just painting it for one perspective, I don't know. I mean, it's fine, I suppose. It makes for good pictures, but, something to be said for viewing it in person. It's like an actor on film. You see them in the movie and you think, wow, that person is so interesting and amazing, and they're bigger than life. And then when you view it in person, it's like, oh my God, they're small and tiny. Oh, he's rude, and what I mean, like, and it's not the same, right? I mean, it's all our perception. It's really when we're viewing it through the screen or through photos, there's a certain disconnect from the subject matter, versus if you can view it in person and actually look at it. And then of course, if it's not competition pieces, but gaming pieces, and your buddy spends a lot of time on the models, and you can, look at it, you pick it up and you and you can really examine it, right? It's just, you can enjoy it, right? But anyway, wow, we're going straight to pictures today. What's going on? Is Kris all right? Straight to pictures. Dude, I've been running for an hour and 49 minutes. That was the Instagram. Now I'm going to jump over to the emails here, because we're 10 minutes left of the show. So, yeah. Remember, it's 120 minutes. 120. That's it. I should have a little countdown of 120 minutes running at the corner over here. Alex, feathering the black armor was an experience. Yeah. I've done a few videos on feathering. I don't know if you've ever watched them or not, but there are a few, not tricks, but ways you can go about it that make it just a little bit easier, rather than trying to kill your brush or try to be really, really fast with it. James Kent, so now I want fluorescent Death Guard. Yeah, I was quite impressed with those. I mean, sure, the application of the paint could have been a little tighter, gradients, all these things. Sure. That person will get there. But as far as concept and execution, I thought it was a joy. It was a lot of fun. I wouldn't change it, really. It's really just more about the time spent in, building gradients and stuff like that. Like, it's minor. Raziel, yo. Ben Ellis, yo. No, wow, great chaos models. Yeah, I like those. Those are fun. Those were a lot of fun. Derek Ludis, I only use gloss sealers when using panel liner. Sure. I often use gloss, like all my Eldar stuff, like my tanks and everything like that, they're all gloss. Other than like banners and stuff like that, I leave those matte. But otherwise, yeah, everything gets gloss. Because I like, the Lamborghini kind of look, right? Like if you look at Lamborghini with a red paint job, because all my models are Samhan, right? So everything's red, gloss finish, and, it's like a Lamborghini. It's like a fire engine, right? It's got that candy surface that's, all about, projecting that idea of slick and fast, and, that's why I do it, in part, and also because I find that when you're dealing with purely saturated color, like the primary color, like say using pure red, right? Like a pure mid-tone red, like primary red. If you put a matte finish on it and put a gloss finish on it and compare them side to side, the gloss tends to look more saturated and vibrant as opposed to the matte. And that's because the matte is actually scattering that light all over the place, and it actually is killing some of that color saturation versus the gloss where you're getting 100% of all that light bouncing back to you, right? This is the motion for light bouncing back at you. Not me trying to smack myself in the face. Alrighty, let's do an email. Headphones, turn them up or down, because here it comes. Email time. It's email time. Oh shit, it's done. I'm sitting here eating a Twix. Oh man. Anyway. See, I thought I was prepared. This one is from our good buddy Ben Ellis. Kit Bash, Iron Priest. Good evening there, Kiss, and all. Kiss and all. Nothing serious, just a bit of fun for my one use and attempt at water. Oi! New follower. Thank you. I can't quite see who it is. Hold on. Demek Chop. Thank you. All right, back to the email. So, nothing serious, a bit of fun for my one use and attempt at water splash to the left of the lead foot. I didn't place it around the foot so I could remove it at a later date. I wasn't sure how to do it, so any advice would be appreciated, as I have only used hardened Ard Coat from Citadel Range to form the splash. Kind regards, Ben. All right, Ben. Okay. So you're using Ard Coat to, let me switch cameras here. There we go. To create the water splash. The water splash looks fine. It looks like, with the amount of white in it, and that's, and I assume that little splooch coming up, that's the splash we're talking about. I would assume. Now, yeah, there's a few ways you can always go about creating that little splash. And I'm not sure how you went about it. It looks like maybe you laid some Ard Coat down onto, say, like a piece of saran wrap or plastic wrap or something. It's really nice work on the model, by the way. I like the work on the gemstones and everything like that. Just a very consistent paint job with Ben. Ben's work is really nice. But anyway, back to the water situation. Yeah, there's a few ways you can go about it, right? You can lay some Ard Coat down onto a nice smooth surface that, obviously because you're going to allow this amount to dry. And then, of course, you can shape it or shape it as it dries. So you can create kind of like a splash type shape. And then you peel it off and then you just glue it down. White glue, right? Regular PVA glue. Because it dries clear. I wouldn't use CA glue, super glue. I wouldn't use that because potential for frosting or anything like that. Of course, you can always incorporate the frosting into the final effect if necessary. But yeah, the other thing that I really like for creating like waves and splashes is you can use fishing line, the clear fishing line. You can use some of that, and they have a few different gauges. Some are thicker, some are thinner, and you create the splashes. I use that on Rodigus. I used fishing line on Rodigus, and there's like a little nurgling who's got like spurts coming out of him, and that's all it was fishing line with Nurgle's rot. The technical, yeah, and that's all it is. And so for the water, that's one way. You can lay them down onto that clear cellophane, make the shapes, and then glue them in, and then just have them stand on end. And, you have your clear water. Another one would be to use a heavy body gel. Golden and Liquitex make heavy body gel, which basically is like a thick paint. And it's not so thick that you can sculpt it, but it can be shaped. And you can either lay it out on cellophane, just like, the gloss coat here, or you can actually just paint it on and create your shapes. Oi, jeez Louise. Thank you. Who's that? Oh, Heretic Scott. Oh, you're hosting. You're rating, are you? You're rating? You're hosting? Something? Anywho, yeah, so heavy body gel is another way. I show that when we did the patron paint along, and I was showing how I did the water base for the wolf in that patron paint along. I don't know if you were part of that, Ben, but I'd shown that. Man, there's all sorts of ways. You can take clear plastic, like the clear plastic from, say, like the blisters, right? Like the blister packaging. Cut out your shape. You could even warm it if need be. Form it to the shape of the splash. Then use Ard Coat or clear gel, like the heavy body clear gel. Use that to finalize the shapes and marry it into the rest of the splash. And, you can go about it that way. Again, fixing it to the surface, I definitely would use just a PVA glue. Don't use CA glue just because, again, like I said, it frosts. I mean, you get frosting when you use too much. That's where frosting usually occurs, is when there's too much CA glue down. Because it's the vapors, right? And with CA glue, a lot of times less is more. So when fixing parts together, it usually only requires a tiny little amount, and that's it. But a lot of times people end up putting way too much CA glue down on a surface and gluing two parts together. And no, you're using too much glue. You really don't need that much CA glue to make parts stick. You've experienced, everybody who's played with CA glue knows that just a tiny amount on your finger, and then you touch your two fingers together, that you're stuck, right? It's because it's just a tiny little amount, and then your fingers are stuck together, right? And it's same with everything else. It only takes a little bit, and it bonds the parts together, and they're stuk. They're stuk. So yeah. I'm trying to think of what else. Like, I don't know if what was the other one? Oh, the Deepkin guy. Did I do splash? I did water base. I did a Deepkin guy, the guy with the octopus on him, and I did water on his base as well. And yeah, but yeah, the heavy body gel. Now the heavy body gel will help you in creating some really good big waves on a surface, but it's not going to be like, you would have to build it in a few layers and a few steps to build something that looks like it's coming all the way up like that, like a big splash, right? It's not going to be able to do that. And in fact, you're better off doing something like I said with the, the clear plastic, thin clear plastic, cut it to the shape of a splash, fix it, and then use the heavy gel to finalize the form. But you'll have a clear water effect as it splashes upwards, right? So those are all options. I'm sure there's a few others for creating really good splashes. I mean, if you had a resin printer, clear resin, you print a splash up, right? That's another easy one. Again, there's many ways to go about this. It's just really what materials you have on hand and what you want to do. I mean, for me personally, creating a splash using fishing line and PVA glue, that's about the easiest way I can think of. Mind you, though, it might look a bit like a fountain, but if you're clever, you can create the superstructure and put, like, say, the gel medium down, or even the PVA glue. You can build it up in layers of PVA glue even as well. It just won't be as clear though. Whereas the heavy gel will dry crystal clear, as long as it's not too muddy or anything like that. But it's like a thick pancake batter. It's not like sculpting putty. It's not like that. It's more like, like pancake batter. It'll make shapes and it'll dry in relatively short order. If it's really, really thick, it's going to take a while to dry. If it's not too thick, it'll dry pretty fast. And it all depends on what your shapes and everything that you're building are. So hopefully, Ben, that helps. I hope. Ben, sorry, the autocorrect. Heretic Scott, howdy, hi monkeys. Gonna be lurking and working. I like that, lurking and working. Alex will go, sick Wolf Priest conversion. Yeah, it is pretty cool. I like it. Ben, thanks for the advice on the PVA. No problem. I have a look over for use of fishing line. Thank you. Heavy body gel sounds good, as I guess I can use it for icicles too. Yes. Yep. Heavy body gel, you can use that for all sorts of stuff. I mean, again, yeah. Icicles, splashes, water, blood effects, any kind of clear windows. I use the heavy body gel in Morathi's wings to create the blood effect, so that light would play through her wings, because the on foot version with her metal wings, it looked like stained glass, and so I thought, that'd be cool, to do like. And I initially was thinking that I was gonna have blood like running all the way down her wings, like that one spell, how it's kind of suspended in the air, but it's all blood pouring down. I was thinking something like that with her, so like it looked like she was like floating in the air, and it's nothing but blood pouring out of her wings, kind of thing. Where is she? Yeah. Here she is. I mean, some of you may be familiar with this model. Some of you might not be. Do I have... Oh, yeah, I can just use this. Here we go. So, I'm going to make sure I'm in frame here. But, yeah, so Morathi, you can kind of see... let me cast shot. You can kind of see how there's a bit of light playing inside her wings? And so she's solid. But, like, she's... Here, you know what? Oh, if we're going to show it off, let's do it properly. Focus. Here, let's change focus a little bit. Okay, right? And so you can see how there's a slight texture, right? On the back side, it's smooth, because that's basically where I had pushed the heavy gel. But here, I'm grabbing my phone here, and I'm going to show you guys. Yeah, so this might blind some of you, but anyway, so you can kind of see, and then you can see, yeah, and you can see how the light plays right through her wings. And so initially what I was thinking of doing was having, so like, because she already has these blood sculpted on her wings, I was going to have like the blood pouring straight down, and so it looked like she was elevated in the air and like she's floating kind of thing, right? That was one of my ideas. Then decided against it. So, yeah. But anyway, yeah. So that's the heavy gel idea. Just use heavy gel. I like Liquitex, Golden. Ard Coat is kind of like it, but not. Ard Coat, I think, it's pretty gooey, but it doesn't retain the shape. Whereas heavy gel, if you draw it into a peak, it holds that peak. So, yeah, it's a little bit firmer than like using just art coat, but it's similar. Van Ellis, oh cool, it holds pigment well. Yeah, well, it's an acrylic. It's a water-based acrylic. The heavy gel, you can add whatever colors you want, but I would recommend, if you want to maintain that transparency, use clear colors and mix them in. And yeah, it'll, you might have to build up to the desired value, but yeah, there shouldn't be any problems. Hell, I mean, for the water effects, I often will add a bit of the blues. I was using like the Forge World clear colors and just add a drop in, I think for the wings, I think I might have used blood for the Blood God. I mixed blood to the Blood God into the heavy gel medium and then used that. I think that's what I might have done. Because it is that same kind of color intensity. And it's shiny as shit too. You can see like it's got a real glossiness to it. You can see how the light plays on that surface inside the wings. So it's like blood. It's like fresh blood. But that's the kind of thing I'm talking about too. Like when we're talking about, finishing off a model, right? Glossy finishes versus matte finishes. Like her dress has more of a matte finish. Her hair is a matte finish, but her wings have that glossiness. The metals has that slight shine to it, right? So, yeah. That's all I'm talking about. It's, just keeping things interesting, right? Alrighty. Holy crap. We're 7 minutes OT. Let's do another email. This one's from Eric. It's Blood Bowl team. This is a commission I am doing for someone. He wanted them painted like New England Patriots with their blue uniform. Any constructive criticism is more than welcome. I am especially looking for ways to make the bases more interesting, maybe adding some blood splatter on some of them and some limbs or skulls on some of the others. So how many of the 12 mini bases, 6 of which have yet to be painted, should I put those things on? Also, as a side question, if you were to bump these miniatures from their current painting level of painting up to display standard, series painting competition standard, where should they be improved on? More weathering, battle damage, or what? Thank you very much in advance, Eric. All right, so he's doing them in a classic New England Patriots color scheme. I dig it. I like them. The painting, as far as bringing them up to display type standards, you definitely want to increase the level of contrast of your highlights and your shadows. So you want to pushing the brighter tones at the highest points. Also smoother gradients. Not that your gradients are bad here, or not smooth. It's just, if we're talking about going to that kind of competition level type of painting, you're looking for your best effort, right? So straight lines, good model prep, and of course doing something interesting with the models, like conversions, like just reposes, just simple reposes of each of the models, especially if they're a team and you have some of the models that are in the same pose. Changing the pose of some of them, right? Some guys with their arms down, leg up, head turned, that kind of stuff, right? Just, vary them up so they don't look too uniform. Of course, when they're all lined up in a line, I mean, they are uniform, right? They move together, but regardless, yeah, I think you get what I'm meaning. Battle damage, sure. Yeah, that definitely would add to it. Weathering, mud on the boots and, scuffs on the armor, stuff like that. Sure. Yeah, those are all things. Paying attention to the tiniest of details, high points on the armor, especially in the metallic blues, pushing that to almost a silver in some places, it's really just being mindful of the level of contrast, and of course, you know, because we're looking at a unit here, and if you were presenting this whole team as say for competition, you'd want to have a pretty standardized look on your model, especially models that are the same. So like for example, see how like your treatment of the helmet, how the one helmet looks like it's got more red, more silver on it than the other one, right? So you want to have a consistency across them all. I like the inclusion of the white line in the base as well. I think more of the bases should have that. Is that the impression of the white line? Your line work is really good. I like the numbers as well. Again, when we're talking about painting for competition type standards, I mean, you know, most of the time what we're talking about is just your brush control and your control of the color, and you know, and your chosen method of you know, applying your highlights and things of that nature. Yeah, I really like the base on the right. I like that brighter green, that hint of brown in the base, and then of course the little white line running through. That looks really good. Yeah, like see how like, you know, the helmet on the buddy on the right. I like how buddy on the right is painted. Not that buddy on the left is bad. It's just I like the brighter tones. I like that inclusion of the blue metallic in the helmet as well. Just a slight blue, not a blue metal, but you know, just that slight blue. And in fact, you know, pushing the edges of the armor and stuff like that, especially if you had like chipped armor, you know. Yeah. Yeah, I really like it. But yeah, I mean, like there are a whole bunch of ways to, you know, improve your painting. Um, you know, like obviously you're off to a really great start. You obviously demonstrate a really great ability to control your paint, just from the simple fact that I can see nice straight lines on stuff. Now, of course, if you were entering this into competition, you definitely want not straighter, but you definitely want to have bolder lines. Um, and of course, if you're going to incorporate weathering in, you'd also want to weather those lines as well. Because you know how like some of the chip details run into where those lines are, you should chip out those lines where those you know, those scratches and everything are occurring, or make it up wherever it is going. And as far as the bases, however you've done Buddy on the right is really how I would do the rest of the bases. I mean, I like the grass pitch and with the white lines. The white line here is far better than no line than say a Buddy on the left. But even the Buddy, oops, wrong button. The one model, yeah, like this, the model here with the white line running through his base, it feels like it's a little bit soft. Yeah, like here, and it gets kind of lost, right? Versus a nice strong one here, which is really good. I like that. The bases, honestly, yeah, it could be done just like this, like Buddy on the right. I mean, if you want to have skulls and, you know, crap like that on them, nothing wrong with that. And if you're not sure how much skulls and stuff to lay down on models, just remember that less is more, right? So, you know, if you're going to have a skull on the base, save it for the thrower, right? Somebody interesting. Typically, the bases, I mean, normally I would advocate magnetizing the ball and putting magnets in the base so that whenever a player has the ball, you just have that magnetic ball. And just, so you'd want to have that base free of obstruction so that you can, you know, game with it better. I mean, most Blood Bowl models are game pieces, you know. You don't really see a lot of Blood Bowl models as display pieces. Usually everybody that's playing Blood Bowl or has Blood Bowl models they're playing with them. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's not a huge issue. Just, you know, yeah. Anyway, where the hell am I here? Belleau, sweet Blood Bowl team. Yes, it is a good Blood Bowl team. TH, those Patriots look dope, and I'm happy that I'm not the only one sending Blood Bowls to Kris. Yes, thank you. Neil McKegney. Was a grass applicator used for Buddy on the right? Grass is much straighter and neater. Yeah, that's it. It definitely looks like an applicator was used, which, you know, makes me wonder why it wasn't used on the other ones. Unless, of course, that guy is like one of his latest iterations, and he's just streamlining his process, so his earlier models are not, you know, they're a little less developed as his current, like what he's currently producing, right? We don't know how long this person's been painting. We don't know how long they've been working on this project. We don't know, you know, these questions, right? So, you know, but yeah, the grass on that one model was definitely way better, and I liked how clean that the line was. You know, it felt like he was right out of the pitch, like he was, you know, he was taken out of a moment of time, and he's, you know what I mean? So, yeah. But yeah, was it grass applicant? I don't know. Who was that? That was Eric? Yeah, so Eric, I don't know if you're in today, or if you're watching, or if you're going to watch after the fact, leave a comment down below. How did you apply the grass, especially on that catcher on the right that we were talking about? How did you go about applying it? Because, yeah, the grass definitely looks more coherent, cohesive, something, because, yeah, see, like, here, let's zoom in a bit, because Buddy on the left, unless of course it's a different blend of static grass, but it looks like the same process, but you just got a much better result on the one on the right, because the one on the left, it looks like a pretty wild field, whereas the one on the right feels like a pretty well kept field, right? Yeah, I kind of want to know now too. Were you using an applicator? What was the process here? Now I have to know. I have to know now. I wonder, has anybody ever used, like, say, like an electric razor, you know, like you know, the ones that have like the 3 little discs, you know, for like quick little shaves? Has anybody ever used one of those to, like, knock, you know, that grass to give it that well manicured look? Like, you know, like, for example, like Blood Bowl. Because Blood Bowl, despite it being the whole fantasy setting, they might play on some fields that were, you know, well maintained, right? And yeah, because I was just trying to think of, like, how would you get a uniform grass look, right? Like, lay the grass down and then use something like that to, like, you know, buzz the tops off the grass to get a nice even, you know, field kind of look, right? It would look a little like a golf course, but, you know, I think it'd be kind of fun. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Holy caramoles, we're 20 minutes OT. Where am I? James and Kent. Never trust a Blood Bowl team that is not covered in crumbs and stinking of beer. Great big thumbprints on it and everything. Neil McKegney. Am I saying that right? McKegney? Yeah, it certainly looks that way. Also, great pronunciation of my surname. Nobody ever gets it right. Did I get it right? McKegney? McKegney? McKegney. Kegney. Anyway. Let's sit here and stare at that all day. McKegney. Heretic Scott, I see a new tank was announced. Shame it wasn't Chaos, but it still looks cool. Yes. Well, we were talking a little bit about the tank today, for the sisters. You know, I don't know. I guess some are not in favor of a Predator tank for sisters, I guess. I'm not sure why, but yeah. Now, the one models that I might get just for giggles, just for gigglies. Let's jump back over to, yeah, this window. Or maybe this window? Yeah, this window. Because I was just looking at their pre-orders here, and they have like the Piety and Pain, it's up, and you know, it's the Lilith and Sister, and of course they got the big bundle of 510 Canadian. Is it Canadian? Yeah, Canadian. Hoof! But that gives you the cards, some art, codex, some dice, Dark Eldar battle box, plus the new box, and yeah, all that shit. Hold on, the collector's edition of the codex is $100? What the fuck is in the collector's edition? It's $60 for the hardcover book? Is that the cost of codexes now? $60? 60 goddamn dollars? $30 for cards. 40 for dice. No. Okay, hold on. What adds $40 worth of value to the collector's edition? I gotta know. I've gotta know. Hey, artwork's nice. Looks cool. Okay, what do we got? Okay, it's got the little ribbon. Tons of pretty pictures, sure. It's got, what? Embossed writing? Is that what it is? Why is this $40 more? History of the Dark Eldar, hideous possessions, blah, blah, blah. Showcase stunning. Yeah, okay. Vast range dash. Yeah, okay. More. The Glorious Collector's Edition features a soft touch cover with foil backing and black ribbon marker. That's it? That's $40? $40 is that. Is the soft touch cover, foil backing, and black ribbon. That's $40. Okay. All right. I mean, realistically, I mean, the collector's edition book is just got Drukhari on the cover with no Warhammer 40,000, whereas the regular codex has Warhammer 40,000. In case you forgot what game you're fucking playing. No, as I was saying, the one that I might get, and I don't even play Dire Chasm, I might get these guys. I like these little lizardmen duders. Lizardmen. I like these lizardmen. That Temple Guard guy is just too awesome. The chameleon duder, that it just makes me laugh every time I look at it. That is just too funny. I don't know. Something about that is just, I find so comical. Let's see if there's any other pictures of them. There's gotta be. I might buy this box just for giggles to paint these guys up, because they are just too damn cool. I like the big Temple Guard guy. He just looks badass. I mean, the Temple Guard guys are just really, really cool models anyway. It's just just lizard dudes wearing armor. Like, that does not look like anything you want to mess with, right? So Chameleon Duder, I kind of want I'm gonna buy this box, I think, just for that little chameleon, because these little areas. Let's click his little 360. Oh, look at this guy! He's spinning. What? Anyway, yeah, look at this guy. Oh man, I want him sexually. Yeah, I want this model. Oh, look at his little quiver is fucking a frog. And he's got the little blow darts inside the frog. That's hilarious. Yeah, this thing is awesome. I might have to get this model. I like too how the trunk is coming out the side of the base. You do not really see this very often with sculpts. That the elements on the base project out through the rim. I don't think of, like, is there any other models that do that? See how the trunk is kind of like coming out of the rim? Are there any other models that have that kind of element going on where, you know, they're breaking out of the frame kind of thing, right? There's a term for it. I know there's a term for it. Term for everything. I like this model. I'm gonna click it. Oh yeah, look at this guy. That's just intimidating, man. It's like, I'm gonna hit you with my big stick. Yeah, this guy's really cool. I like this guy too. Oh man, what colors would I even do? I wouldn't do them these colors. I'd do them freaky deaky colors. Are they all on one sprue? I just want the chameleon. I want the chameleon now. But yeah, like I said, are there any other models that do that element where, like, there's something on the base, it's got sculpted elements, but it's breaking out through the rim of the base. It's kind of breaking outside the frame. You know how, like, you see some, like, you see a lot in Bob Ross paintings. Well, not a lot of Bob Ross, but like in some, I can't remember what the term's called for it, where basically you have the framing of the piece and everything, all the subject matter's inside, but then there's an element that breaks out of that framing, right? I'm sure there's a term for it. I haven't checked at the chat here, but yeah. But definitely, you know, that's what that feels like. And I don't think I've ever seen that on a Citadel model where something is breaking out from within the rim. Usually the rim is the frame of the composition, right? Does anybody else know? I mean, if anybody else knows, please tell me, right? So, because I'm always willing to learn. The Lost Alien. I think Phillips One Blade would be good for mowing the grass. The Phillips One Blade, yeah. Is that the one for pubes? Because if it can do pubes, then we can do static grass. Definitely. James and Kent, it costs more because it's called the collector's edition. Oh, it's just called that? That's the only reason to charge more? Is just because that's what it's called? Yeah. Guys are stressing. Holy shit, we're 20 minutes OT. I got to start wrapping this up here. That's why I got the Twix. Now I'm going to try and read comments while I'm chewing on a Twix. In case anybody was wondering what candy bar I was reading. It's about to get rude. It's about to get gross. I'm going to get chocolate splatter all over my monitor. Aaron Siege, fuck, and I thought 45 for the Necron Codex was a little steep. Yeah. $60 Canadian. I mean, that's probably, what, 50 American? I guess I don't have to guess, right? I can just go click on, change the shipping. Let's see here. So, special edition, collector's edition. Yeah, okay, that's Canadian. If I was shipping to America, where the fuck is America? There it is. $80. Woo! That's still not cheap. No, wrong way. So what's the regular Codex cost? So it's 60 Canadian. Survey says, yeah, $50. 50 for the Codex. Hoof. Hoof. Not oof. Hoof with an H. Hoof. Because that's the sound you actually make when you're gut shotted. If you've never taken a shot in the gut, you haven't lived, really. But yeah, that's the sound you make, is hoof. It's not oof with a ooh sound, starting like ew. It's hoof, because you're getting gut shot and all the air is evacuating your lungs. Because basically the impact hits your diaphragm, makes your lungs expel air, so you just hoof, right? So it's hoof. That's the sound you make, anyway. Because I've been gut shotted many times. Many times. Aaron Seach, the chameleon dude is screaming, painting me with color shift paint. I don't know if I think, yeah, I don't know. I'm, you know what? I already ordered some stuff. It's pre-order. But I think I'm gonna have to pre-order this lizardman. Not lizard man, not men, but min. Lizardman. Anyway. Yeah, color shift paints would be cool, But no, I think I'd be more inclined because I'd feel like I'd want to spend some time on them. I don't play the game, so I'm not that concerned about it. But I like the sculpts. I want that chameleon, and I like that temple guard dude. And the rest of the skinks all look cool. Skinks are just fun, and painting up the skinks for tutorials, would also allow me to, justify spending the money, right? For tax reasons. Neil McKegney. I'd love if the skinks share the gecko look. They're adorable. Yeah, they're really fun. I think that the one gecko, no, not gecko, he's a chameleon. Are they geckos? Are chameleons geckos? Are they the same family kind of thing? Is that what it is? Is gecko like a family of lizard? Anyway. Yeah. Different lizard men, like the skinks, do them like salamanders and iguanas and, you know what I mean? Like all these different kind of, lizards. I think there should be multiple kind of lizards because they're called lizardmen, right? So every kind of lizard really should be part of the army kind of thing, right? Part of the lore. Not just, because like temple guard or regular lizardman warriors, they're what? Like alligators kind of things? I don't even know. Yeah, I don't even know. Like, what are they? Are they iguanas? Are they, Komodo dragons? Salamanders? Are they frogs? More frogs. Well, slan are frogs, right? But anyway, I'm rambling at this point. Corvonix plays, I would paint him in the most contrasting color possible, just for lulz. The most contrast would be white and black or yellow and black. Those are the strongest contrasts. Kevin Cabal, you have clearly had more than enough chameleon, Kris. Chameleon? I don't even know what that means. Throwing me for a loop here. I don't know what that means. What's he talking about? I've had enough? I've had enough? I beg to differ. I've had enough. Who are you to judge me? Having enough? I don't know. Jeffers, orange and yellow perhaps, yes. For the lizardman? The lizardman? Yeah, orange and yellow? Definitely. Oh, man. Like, my brain, especially for the Chameleon, I'm awash with many ideas on how I'd paint it, and because I can think of a few ways where I'd just do it really, really fast or spend a bunch of time on it. Oh, man, I don't know. But yeah, I think I'm gonna probably have to order that box. I think so. I think I gotta order it. It kind of looks like I have to order it now. I think after the show, I'll probably put an order in for it. James Kent. So I am now pondering setting up a codex export business. What? A codex export business? Yeah, you're gonna have to explain that one, James. You might have to save that one for the Discord because I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you mean. Neil McKegney. It doesn't quite roll off the tongue because it's not a name I've heard. I've heard of Kegney. And throwing MC like Mick, right? Not Mac, but Mick, right? Is that if it, Mac is Mac, right? But MC is like it's pronounced like a Mick, right? I'm just trying to be accurate about this. Yeah, you got that wrong. Yeah, but I got that wrong. Oh, about the geckos? Yeah, but there should be geckos though. Like there should be lizardmen geckos. Like, but are the skinks like are they like salamanders or are they geckos? I don't even know. But anyway, Kevin Cabal, chameleons should be painted with the paint called Kima. What? Neil McKegney. Okay, yeah, McKegney. Okay, so I was kind of saying it right, McKegney. That's not Mac, right? It's Mick. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Or is it Mike? M-I-C is Mike. Mike Kegney? We're going to be at this for a fucking hour. Kevin Cabal, chameleon should be painted the color of karma. Color karma. Oh, it's a fucking joke. It's a joke. I was about to do it. Come on. On that note, I don't think we can go any lower. I don't think we can go any lower here, people, for God's sakes. If you're brand new to this hobby, you need some help. You want help with the color scheme, maybe there's a particular technique that's troubling you, maybe you've got questions about paint lines, tools, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Ask your questions. You can always ask your questions here. I welcome any and all questions. And of course, if you're watching this after the fact, submit your questions to Kris@wayofthebrush.com. If you have pictures, send them as attachments in the email. Don't send it off as links to other sites because I just won't read it. Huge thank you. So yeah, send those emails. So of course, if you don't want to send emails, you don't feel like sharing that way, or you just don't really feel like, writing an email, using the hashtag #WayOfTheBrush on Instagram. We just do this for Instagram. So yeah, I mean, if you're using hashtag #WayOfTheBrush elsewhere, continue to do so. But yeah, Instagram, because it's all pretty pictures. Instagram's all pretty pictures, right? It's, not a lot of text, and it's all pretty pictures. And I like pretty pictures. I like pretty things. Who doesn't? So anyway, yeah, use the hashtag #WayTheBrush Instagram, because I've been trying to stay on top of that and showing off people's work and stuff like that. And so yeah, keep using it. Who knows? Maybe once we get to a point, everybody's just using the hashtag #WayTheBrush and nobody sends me emails, and it is kind of antiquated. I've done the email thing since the beginning, I think. Anyway, but yeah. Either way, I can't remember what I was talking about now. I can hear music, so I'm kind of... My son's playing Static X upstairs. I kind of want to go rock out now. Oh yeah, so send your emails, questions. Use the hashtag #WayTheBrush right there. And of course, in the description below is a link to wayofthebrush.com. Central hub of all this cinema has links to all the social media as well as Discord. Join us on Discord. It's a lot of fun. We keep the conversation rolling there 24/7, 7 days a week. We're always open, never closes. And so feel free to ask your questions. The only rule there is don't be a dick. That's my only rule. Don't be a dick. It's also pretty ambiguous as far as, what constitutes being a dick. And it's kind of my discretion and the mod's discretion. So, if we feel like banning you for no good reason, we'll do it. No, you gotta do you realize how big of a fuck up you have to be to get kicked from my Discord? You have to be a major dick. Douche. Is there such a thing as a dick douche? I mean, just a bar, usually for me, it's just a bar of soap, scrub around and stuff. Yeah. I don't know. Is there a dick douche? Little Richard now. Baby, having some fun tonight. I'm probably going to get flagged if Kiss and this music shows up on my stream. Anywho. So, wayofthebrush.com. Discord, social medias, all that stuff. Patreon. Huge thank you to all my patrons. Without your support, this channel, these videos, this show would not be able to go on. And so a huge, huge thank you. Everybody else, considering Patreon support, I have varying tiers of support, and there's perks associated with each of those tiers, mainly being early access to videos. I'm currently 2 weeks ahead right now. We're working on the Brazen Claw, Primaris Blade Guard Space Marine for the 40Ks things, the space things, the super soldier duders. The fascist army. We're doing something fashionable on our fascists. I can't even get through this ending spiel. I'm all fucked up. Big thank you to Carl, Guy Mirrell for Beer and Blood Bowl. Take time, thank Carl, even though he is no longer with us, for creating the email jingles that play before the email segments of the show. And so always much love to Carl. Always, always, always much love for Carl. And of course, much love to my baby brother, Evan, for creating the intro-outro music that plays at the beginning and end of this show. So always much love to my baby bro, Evan. And if you're into rare comics, EB Comics. It's in the description below. He's got the hookup. Just go to ebcomics.com. Pretty sure it's .com. Is it .ca? .net? .org? .biz? You know what? I don't even know. I wasn't paying attention. Kevin Cabal, forgive me, I'm from the 80s. I know, that's... And I kind of thought when you said that before, I kind of thought that that's what you were talking about. But then, yeah, when I read it the last time, I was like, oh, for fuck's sakes, yeah. Old Man Logan. And yet, there are a few that are reached this level of douchebaggery. Yeah, like I said, you know, you have to be a pretty big fuck up to get kicked off my server. Because I'm pretty wide open as far as, you know, what flies in my server. I mean, you know, not super toxic shit. In fact, the more likely you are to keep it hobby related, the better we'll get along. But I do allow for more controversial type of subject matter. I'm looking at Discord right now. I can see Evan, our Enforcer, beer time. It's beer time? Why does it look like there's police tape by the table? James, I'm concerned now. Are you drinking at a crime scene? I'm looking at this picture. Oh shit, I can't bring it up on channel. Shit. Or can I? Do I have one for Discord? Ate his liver with a nice Chianti and some fava beans. You know, yeah. Enforcer, I'm James. It looks like you're having a beer at a crime scene, bud. Because I can see that caution tape behind. The police tape, do not cross. Anyway, I'm fucking rambling at this point. Go enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Don't be a dick. Go get your vaccination. If you haven't been vaccinated yet, wash your hands. Don't touch your face. And if you got to go out, wear a mask. And also, take care of your brushes. They'll take care of you. And I will see you guys later. No matter what occurs, I will see you later. You know what? Maybe I'll do a stream later tonight. Because I got work to do. And, you know, been really busy. I can feel like all my projects are starting to weigh heavy. And here I am. I've ordered more things. I'm probably going to order those lizardmen, or I might wait till they come out and then I'll buy them locally from Max Aggression. Maybe I'll give Max my money. Well, it's Dan, but yeah, maybe I'll wait till Dan gets his hands on them. Maybe if I feel like really supporting my local businesses, I suppose I should, right? Ugh.